Everyone, I'm here with Malvina Goldfeld, who's the business development lead for Sub-Saharan Africa for PayPal. Thank you very much for being on Kemibaro.com.
Thank you, Moses.
And I guess the first question I have for you, Malvina, is obviously last night some of us watched the Apple iPhone 6 and the Apple Watch launch. And obviously, there's also Apple Pay, which seems to be a significant competitor to PayPal, given that you have your one-touch proposition. What are your thoughts on that development?
I think it's very interesting. I think there were a lot of rumors about it coming, so it didn't actually come as a surprise.
Yeah.
The payment space is becoming very very competitive,
Yes.
and what's interesting about it is that I think a lot of different kinds of players are moving in. So not necessarily the traditional ones, right? So on the one hand, you have the banks, right, who try to become relevant in digital payments and online payments as well.
Okay.
You have the technology companies that already have the technological edge. The large ones, they have large user bases. So like PayPal with 152 million active accounts around the world. Apple obviously with iTunes have a lot of accounts with payment details as well. And a lot of others. So it's pretty much a natural move for them to try and complete the payment within their own applications. Having said that, I think PayPal is associated with secure and easy payments online. So this is why the company was created. This is our prime value proposition. So other companies have different strengths, and there's a question of who do you trust with your payment information, and who do you trust? This is your most sensitive information.
Okay.
So and the reason why we've grown so large all around the world is that our customers really trust our service, and they get the best service that we can give them.
Okay, brilliant. So it was probably, I think, about May last year when you announced your partnership with Equity Bank. I remember blogging about it very excitedly. I have been using PayPal personally to make online payments for a long time. So I load my card and then I can pay via PayPal.
Okay.
So since you launched in Kenya with Equity Bank, what has been the progress? What are the milestones that you've managed to achieve so far?
Sure. So launching with Equity Bank allowed us to allow our customers to withdraw funds from their PayPal account into their Equity Bank accounts. Before that, I was reading actually a lot of the Kenyan blogs, and people were having a lot of trouble. They had to come up with very creative ways of getting the money from PayPal into their bank accounts, or just getting cash out. And so I think that's a huge progress for our presence in the country. It allowed us to ramp up our merchant acquisition in a much faster way. So, and in terms of focus, we're focusing both on large merchants, so people like Kenya Airways, like Jumia, who process payments online, and today they accept PayPal for the customers to be able to use their PayPal accounts in order to pay for the services. And then on the other hand, we also have a lot of freelancers. So a lot of bloggers, a lot of people who do marketing projects online, writing projects online, and those are individuals. So they can't definitely set up like a credit card system, acceptance systems and things like that. So for them, getting paid with PayPal from customers of theirs all around the world is the easiest and quickest way. And then the Equity Bank partnership allows them to withdraw these funds into their Kenyan bank accounts.
Any specific metrics that you're willing to share in terms of the growth or the uptake since PayPal launched in Kenya over a year ago?
So I think one interesting fact is that the merchant side, so as I mentioned, the Equity Bank partnership allowed us to acquire a lot more merchants, and so kind of the receive side of PayPal has been growing very quickly. I think what's very interesting is the impact that it also has on the send money side, right? So because the way we sort of look at the ecosystem, we have the merchants receiving funds, so
Yes.
we call them merchants. It can be an individual or a company, and then you have individuals or consumers who buy digital goods online or buy physical goods, etc.
Correct.
So I think what's very interesting is that the merchant side is also enabling the growth of the consumer side, and I think it's just a general kind of growth of awareness in the market. Because once you start seeing the PayPal logo on the merchant website, then you also, people even who haven't heard of PayPal or who maybe opened an account but never used it, suddenly they're like, oh wait, I have a PayPal account, let me see how it works. After they use it once or twice, they keep on using it because they understand the benefits. So,
Okay.
so that's what we've been seeing in Kenya for the last year. So it's really nice growth. I think we still have a long way to go.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be focusing on in the next year, is building, creating brand awareness, and market education. I think a lot of people still don't feel comfortable in Kenya paying online, right? A lot of people, they would use cash, like cash on delivery, or they use M-Pesa. They don't feel safe putting their credit card details online, and I think where we can really make a difference is by educating them about the safety of PayPal, and because when you use a PayPal account, your credit card details are not passed to the merchant. So your credit card details are safe, or your credit card or debit card. So basically any card that can be used online, you can attach it to a PayPal account.
Another interesting thing I wanted to find out is with regards to the actual transactions that are happening in Kenya. Are these locals buying on international websites using PayPal, or is it the fact that local merchants are now getting international customers buying into their products using PayPal? What is the sort of separation or the makeup of those sort of transactions?
Sure.
Yeah.
So what we call cross-border transactions. So both of the types that you mentioned. So Kenyan merchants who get paid from customers outside. So we're seeing, again, on the merchant side, we have the freelancers, for example.
Okay.
We also have, the entire travel industry is a great fit for PayPal in Kenya, because
Okay.
If you're a hotel, if you're a safari tour operator, your clients usually come from Europe or from the US. Most of them have PayPal accounts, and if you can give them the option of paying with PayPal, they will be much happier doing that, and there's a much higher chance that they will actually buy your services if they can use PayPal, because they feel safe when they make that payment. They know that they're going to get a good service, and in case they don't get the service that they were promised, they will get a refund. So we will take care of that side. Whether the funds, the merchant will have to do the refund, or we also protect our buyers to make sure that the purchases are safe. So if they don't get the service they signed up for, we will refund them in case the merchant, for whatever reason, doesn't. So for the travel industry, it's a perfect fit. So, and we're seeing more and more safari tour operators starting to use the service.
Okay.
What's great about it is that they don't necessarily have to do the integration, right? So if you're an e-commerce website, you integrate payment methods on the website. So people would be able to click the checkout with PayPal button and
Yes.
go through the checkout experience. If you're a small business, you don't necessarily want to integrate payment methods on the website. The great thing about PayPal is that you can just give somebody your email address and tell them, how much they need to pay you, and they can send those funds with PayPal, and you'll get them on your PayPal account immediately. We also have an invoicing product. So from your PayPal account, you can actually send an invoice to somebody's email address. So they'll receive an email with a button, and once they click on the button, they'll get on the PayPal website. The amount that they need to pay you will already be pre-populated. And of course, your email, where they're paying will already be pre-populated. So they'll just have to put in their PayPal password and confirm the payment, and that's it. So for all of these small businesses, it's a wonderful way of getting paid.
Another question I have is, I come from a digital marketing background. That's what I've done for many, many years. And my first concern would be, their level of adoption or integration with PayPal, because, you have your sort of basic email to pay sort of products and so forth. But what about, I have a shopping cart, I want to integrate, which requires a technical person to do that. How are you guys addressing that challenge in a market like Kenya? Because many small businesses don't necessarily have the funds or the know-how to actually do it. And then at the same time, many of the people who should be on this may be a little bit skeptical. So I think there's a huge amount of education required, and I just don't know what are the steps and the measures being taken to sort of bring and incorporate as many of the ideal candidates to actually come on board. Yeah.
Sure. So you're right. Definitely, no. For merchants who want to process the payments online, who want to complete the entire purchase and the payment online, they need to do the integration. If they have an in-house, IT team, we have APIs that are open, right? So you can actually do the integration in-house. It's fairly simple. If you don't have an in-house technical team, then you need to take an agency that can do that development for you. It's not a huge investment, and you make it up over time. We did identify a number of agencies that know how to do a PayPal integration well in Kenya, so we recommend those agencies to merchants who who contact us. So actually, maybe at the end I'll share with you the contact details, so
Okay.
you can put in your blog, and if anybody
Okay.
wants to know more, they can send us an email.
Okay.
And we can share the details of the integration agencies and etc. But absolutely, I think in terms of market awareness, that's where we need to put our emphasis in the next year at least.
Okay.
Tomorrow we're actually organizing a workshop with safari tour operators and hotels to explain to them, what is PayPal, how does it work, how can you accept payments with PayPal, what are the benefits. So that is the direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is any specific announcements or any developments that you are, bringing to light during this particular visit to Kenya? Is there anything new that we should anticipate?
Good question. We recently announced 1 million accounts in South Africa.
Okay.
So that's our South African milestone, and we launched Nigeria 2 months ago.
Okay.
So that was a big. We actually launched Nigeria and 3 more countries. We launched
Okay.
Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So there are a lot of developments in the African market, and it's exciting. The Kenyan market is still one of our largest ones. We launched. It was basically the second one after South Africa. So
It's one of the largest, meaning how many accounts or...
When we reach 1 million, I'll let you know.
We want the data. We love the
And
data.
if we don't get to 1 million,
Okay.
we're humble about it.
Okay, all right. And then maybe a little bit more about PayPal here.
Okay.
Globally, I think it's seen as a competitor to Square and other POS type services. But obviously, the beauty about it is that it connects to your existing PayPal merchant account, but for offline. Yes. So I think that's potentially a big opportunity here, because then you just need a smartphone.
Right.
And you
And
hook
can
up
accept
this,
credit cards.
yeah. So what are you guys thinking around that? Is that in the sort of the short term or mid term, long term? Is that something that's going to happen in this market?
It's a good question. When we launch new products, we roll them out gradually. So we start from the kind of largest, most developed markets where it's much easier, first of all, to get market feedback, to see if the product actually answers the needs of that market, and then we roll it out gradually throughout the world. So we'll never pretty much launch a product in all of our markets. So once we feel, and I think we actually have a few probably steps we need to take before that in order to grow the Kenyan market, and whether it's what we discussed before in terms of awareness and education. So once we feel that the market is ready, we'll consider bringing out a new product and ready, and also that there is a fit. So we're not there yet, but hopefully.
Okay. One other question, just something that came to mind. How do you guys deal with the tax issue? I mean, local taxes. I'm here running this business online. I'm receiving, maybe a couple of $1,000s a month online. How does that deal? Is that something that Equity Bank deals with, or the customer deals with? Because obviously, as e-commerce grows, there's always this big question mark of, so is this money getting taxed or not?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the onus of reporting is on the merchant who receives the money, right? I mean, if you receive money if you receive cash or if you receive M-Pesa, you're the one who has to report how much income you actually get to the tax authorities.
Okay.
PayPal is regulated out of Singapore, so we're an international entity and we comply with the Singaporean regulation. But if you're a Kenyan citizen in this market, of course, you need to comply with the tax authority of Kenya.
Okay. I think, Malvina, that's pretty much all my questions. Thank you very much
Thank you,
for being on
Moses.
this interview. And we look forward to seeing great things from PayPal.
Absolutely.
Great.